Hello guys, Mr. Fluffy Pants here. Today guys, another video, and today guys, I'm going to be going my top 10 movies and TV shows of 2020, which, usually I do every year my top 10 movies of, the respective year, but this year, there wasn't as many movies released, so I decided to also include TV shows, because, I watched a bunch more TV shows this year, and there are so many good shows that were released this year, but, make sure you guys let me know your list down below, but I also have some honorable mentions right before the, number one spot, but make sure you guys stick around for that. But if you guys want more videos like this, you make sure you subscribe, like and subscribe for more. But let's go and get into my number 10 of the year. Okay, guys, so number 10 this year is actually a Netflix movie. I know some people are already going to click off the video, but just let me explain myself. So number 10 is Hubie Halloween, which is an Adam Sandler comedy movie released on Netflix. And like I said, let me explain myself before y'all click off, because I know some of y'all probably will. But I've always been a fan of Adam Sandler and his comedy movies, the comedies from like the 90s and the 2000s. I loved Grown Ups and whatnot. So this movie is really here because it's kind of a soft spot for me, but, this movie honestly does bring it on back. Like, first of all, there's so many references to other Adam Sandler movies in this that it's pretty much creating an Adam Sandler universe, which is kind of crazy to think about. I can see where a lot of people think that his character in this movie is kind of annoying, just kind of playing like the water boy kind of type, but I don't know, I just love the Halloween setting, the kind of, the returning cast, from all his other movies and stuff. Like, I don't know, this movie's just a great Halloween movie. Like, I love it so much. The storylines are kind of like a little but I don't know, this movie's just so great and brings out the Halloween spirit, and, any movie that, can do that and can give me enjoyment, I absolutely love. So that's why it gets my number 10 spot. Okay, guys, and for my 9th spot, I chosen Bad Boys for Life, which is an awesome action movie and a great sequel for, a franchise that I love, pretty good. The first one's kind of, in my opinion, the second one's one of my favorite action movies from, 2000s, and Bad Boys for Life is a worthy, extremely worthy sequel. First of all, I was invited to go see this movie, so I had to kind of binge the first two, right before I saw the movie. So I saw the first one, and then I got halfway through the second one. So some of the references when I first saw the movie, didn't really click with me, because I didn't see some of the parts it was referencing. But this is definitely a movie I need to rewatch. I haven't watched it since theaters, but from what I remember, this was a great action movie, and I love Will Smith's character and a bunch of funny stuff. I say it's on par with hilariosity as the as Bad Boys 2, which is just great. But Will Smith and Martin Lawrence is, great as always, but, yeah, just really fun action movie, and even some heart in there, dealing with Will Smith's character's, son or whatnot, but, yeah, so that's why it earns my 9th place. Okay, guys, and for my 8th place, I got Umbrella Academy Season 2, which, this is a Netflix show, and, this is the beginning of the shows on my list, but, Umbrella Academy, I binged the whole first season, literally a week before, second season come out, because, I heard people were pretty hyped about it. I was like, I'll give it a shot. I did hear it's a superhero show, and, I love the first one, and then when the second season come out, I would say it was even, better than the first season. First of all, I love the storyline, of JFK, since, at the beginning of the first season, to avoid the apocalypse, they go back in time, and then it turns out another apocalypse happens, this time with the nukes or whatnot, and, they have to stop the impending apocalypse coming, which, it's just so great, and, just seeing the returning cast is great, and, kind of where they ended up, while they're in, the past by themselves for a while, is just so interesting. I love seeing more of the, time travel agency. That was, really interesting, too. The main bad guy was really cool, I thought. I forgot the lady's name, but you know what I'm talking about. But I thought, the final battle was cool and all, and very interesting to see where Season 3 will go, which I feel like is probably going to be the final season. But, like I said, just a bunch of strong character stuff, with Ben finally, really going this time. He can't even hang around as a ghost anymore, because apparently he dies a ghost. But, Umbrella Academy Season 2, though, just really enjoyable. Great action, great character moments. I really say Umbrella Academy is really not even a superhero show. It's more of a character show. And, for, that to really hype up people, I think it's great, and that's why it earns my 8th spot. Okay, guys, and for my seventh spot is actually another Netflix show, which is Outer Banks, which, this came out like right at the peak of, the start of the pandemic, so everybody's looking for something to stream, and, this came out, I would say, at the perfect time. Cannot wait for season two, by the way, but, first of all, I just absolutely love this. This is kind of an ode to, the 80s movies where, it's adventure, and then, it's also got a really great love story in it, which I would say, is great. The whole pirate's treasure or whatnot is just fantastic, and, the group of characters, and, some of their backstories, and it's just so good. Like, I honestly need to rewatch it because I've only watched it like three times. I know only three times, but this show's just so good. And it also might have something to do. I'm from North Carolina, so I know the Outer Banks pretty well, even though it wasn't even filmed in the Outer Banks. I think it was like it filmed it in Charleston or something, but still absolutely love this movie. Like again, partly of that is just because I know the area so well, but the storyline on that final episode is just so great, and I cannot wait for season two to see where it goes. But if you haven't checked it out, please check it out. Okay, guys, in my sixth spot, I got The Invisible Man, which is kind of the remake, not really remake, I guess reimagining of the the classic Universal monster. Which and let me just say, this is definitely by far the best horror movie of 2020. Yeah, I guess it's really more of a thriller, but there's definitely some horror elements in there. But definitely the best horror movie of 2020, and definitely one of the best horror movie and remakes like ever. Like I would say, because first of all, the way they're able to modernize the Invisible Man is just a wonder of itself. Like it's just so cool. Seeing how because I think back in the 33 film, it was like an invisible potion, and now it's like a tech suit. It is so cool to see the way it works. And Elizabeth Moss in this movie is absolutely fantastic. Like, holy crap, she is great. And the filmmaking, the cinematography, making you paranoid that an invisible man could be anywhere, to the storyline and all that. I don't want to spoil it for people that haven't really seen it, but if you haven't seen it, please go watch it because it is fantastic. But some of the stuff they're able to do, like I said, with modernizing and some of the just the camera shots and the cinematography is just absolutely wonderful. And like I said, definitely one of the best horror movie of 2020. Even like I would say this is probably gonna be one of the best horror movies of the 2020s, but that's why it earns my number six spot. Okay, guys, and my fifth spot is definitely more one of my my number. Hubie Halloween is definitely one of my personal picks, but is Impractical Jokers, the movie, which I'm an absolutely fan, super fan of the show. So of course, I'm gonna love this movie. But if you're not a fan of the show, you're definitely not gonna like it. But because it's pretty much just a show into a movie format with like a storyline kind of threaded in between the different segments of it, which there is some absolutely hilarious segments. And this is also a road trip movie. I'm a sucker for road trip movie or traveling across the country movies, kind of like Joe Dirt or Forrest Gump. And this is definitely one of those, going from Staten Island all the way down to Miami. So, great road trip. But like I said, if you don't like the show, you're definitely not going to like this. But I just absolutely love this movie, especially as a fan of the show. There's so many references and winks at the camera and whatnot. The guys are actually pretty great actors, I think. Or, not great, but I think they do pretty good acting, which, they kind of have to. That's kind of their job, I guess. Kind of acting normal or acting these absurd situations or whatnot out. But even the storyline, with Paula Abdul, having her music in there, I think it's great. But I just absolutely love this movie, just as a fan of the show, and I don't know, it's just very fun to me. And I rate movies off enjoyment and fun level, and this definitely just brightens up my day every time I watch it. Okay, guys, in my first place is Bill and Ted Face the Musical, or, Bill and Ted 3, which I honestly just love every aspect about this movie. Like, this movie is just such a natural, I guess, follow-up to, Bogus Journey and, Excellent Adventure, which, honestly, I loved Bogus Journey. I thought that movie wrapped up, Bill and Ted's story amazingly, and, what they're able to do with the continuation there, and, I guess, a little bit of retcon, but I wouldn't really call it a retcon, to the ending of that movie, and, what they're able to do by the end of this movie, I think it's just absolutely awesome. If you haven't watched it, I would definitely suggest it. But first of all, Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter are great in this movie. Like, I love them so much. They're they got daughters now and whatnot. which, I do love their storyline. And, at the end of or I don't really spill too much, but let's just say there's like, when we actually do see, the song that unites the world or whatnot, it's just honestly every bit I could ever hope for. Gives me goosebumps every single time. But, I just want to say more, but I honestly don't want to spoil it for people that haven't seen it. But, even people like Death came back for it. But, this movie's just so good. And, the storyline I absolutely love. And like I said, that final, act is just absolutely amazing. And like I said, gives me goosebumps every time. But that's why it earns my number 4 spot. And in my third spot is Wonder Woman 1984, which, again, I absolutely love every aspect, or not every aspect, but I love this movie so much, and I think, yes, it's very different than the first one, and I think that's a good thing, and, this movie just stands out creatively and, visually, too, like, and one thing I'm confused of is, for a while, this movie had a very, positive, consensus around it, and now, for all of a sudden, like, literally, like, took a nosedive down, like, people just, for some reason, do not like this movie. I don't know why, because first of all, the villain in the movie, Max Lord is absolutely amazing. Like, I love him so much. Cheetah's kind of hit or miss, I would say, for me. But that final battle between her and Diana is great. And like I said, the way Max's powers worked and all is just amazing, honestly. But I absolutely loved it. And Wonder Woman herself in it is great. The whole thing with the wishing stone. I don't know, just everything about this movie, the way it comes together, I think is fantastic. And, that whole third act is honestly kind of terrifying at times. Like holy crap, but especially as a straight up reminds me of Revelations, from the Bible or whatnot. But it is kind of scary, and but this movie, I think the way that it is different, I think is a definitely plus. And like honestly though, I don't know what it is about this movie, but I just really like it so much. Like I literally watched it 3 times within 24 hours of my first viewing of it, and yeah, let's just say that does not happen much, which that's possible via me having HBO Max, which I would definitely say is a good thing for this movie. Especially being released on Christmas Day, since the ending scene, takes place at Christmas randomly. I wonder if they kind of shot that last minute, but like I said, I absolutely love this movie, and that's why it ends up at my number 3 spot. Okay, guys, in my second place, I got The Mandalorian Season 2, which, like I said a lot in this video, I feel like it's a natural continuation from Season 1. I think it's able to build onto Season 1, and I honestly do think Season 2 is greater. A lot of people will say, and I do agree, that Season 2 is a lot more fan servicey, but absolutely love season 2. First of all, and also this will contain spoilers, so if you haven't finished watching season 2, you might want to skip forward a little bit. But bringing back characters like Boba Fett, I thought was great, and how he's working with the Mandalorian or whatnot. Protect the child since he got his armor back. Especially that whole first episode was fantastic. They're bringing Ahsoka into live action. I do remember seeing her in Rebels or whatnot. And Bo-Katan, which I've never, watched anything with her in it. Was interesting seeing her and how we learned how, Mando was in a cult, pretty much a Mandalorian cult, because other Mandalorians do remove their helmets or whatnot. Moff Gideon, I think, is still one of the best Star Wars villains of all time. I love, I forgot the actor's name, Gino Carlo Esposito, I think it's something like that, but he's just so great at playing villainous roles. But also the final episode, holy crap, who shows up, and it's one of the best Star Wars moments, I'd say, ever, honestly. It's just so great. Mando having to say goodbye to Baby Yoda, and the whole thing with him removing his helmet is just absolutely fantastic. I just love this season so much, and the hype they were able to keep, with a steamroller going, releasing it weekly, I definitely think works in their favor, with somebody like Netflix, where they release it all at once, because they had that whole binging thing. I definitely think for shows like this on Disney Plus, it definitely does work better with the weekly release schedule. And they reveal, instead of Mando season 3 next year, we're going to get the Book of Boba Fett, which I'm kind of happy with, because Boba Fett was just such a badass in this season. But definitely just watching this every week was just fantastic, and I cannot wait to see our adventures, if we do get more adventures, hopefully we do, but of Mando and Grogu in the future. But yeah, that's why it earns my second spot. Okay, guys, and before I get to my number one spot, I do have a few honorable mentions, which, these are movies or movies and shows that I enjoyed, but, just couldn't find a spot on the list for. So I guess first up is Birds of Prey, which, came out earlier this year. I thought it was really enjoyable. I'll have a review of that soon, but, I love, Ewan McGregor's character Black Mask movie. He's easily my favorite part of the movie. Harley and the other Birds of Prey. I think Harley's pretty cool, but the other birds are probably kind of eh. Like I said, though, I love Roman. Ewan McGregor's character Black Mask. He's awesome. I just wish he had his Black Mask more in the movie. Scoob. As a big fan of Scooby Doo, I did find that enjoyable. Some of the voice actor choices are a little weird, but overall, though, all the references in the Hanna-Barbera universe now, I loved at least. I know a lot of people didn't really like it, but, as a fan of Scooby-Doo, I did. Also, the big one this year, right at the beginning of quarantine, it really blew up because nobody had anything to watch, and, just came out on Netflix was Tiger King, which, I thought was really interesting. I just didn't really feel like I had a spot on the list for a true crime documentary like that, but, that was definitely a big fad for a certain point. I did find that very enjoyable. Just that other live or, Zoom call episode they kind of threw on at the end was kind of interesting, but, and then also Freaky, this came out, back in November, which is kind of a horror comedy, kind of not rom-com, but horror comedy movie, starring Vincent Vogue, which I absolutely love him, in this movie, where a serial killer and the final girl switch bodies. Really interesting. I thought it was pretty funny. And just enjoyable. Just didn't really find a spot on the list for. And then also The Haunting of Bly Manor on Netflix, which is the follow-up to Haunting of Hill House, where it's kind of an anthology series. But Haunting of Bly Manor, I didn't think really kind of stood up next to didn't stand as tall next to Hill House. Don't get me wrong, it had some excellent gothic horror in there, especially with the Lady of the Lake, which was absolutely terrifying, and that whole one episode where it's like a whole flashback and it's black and white was fantastic. But the earlier in the show, the first couple of episodes, it's just really drugged. But like I said, there's some excellent fantastic stuff in there though. But there's just a few of my honorable mentions. But now let's get to the number one spot. Okay, guys, my number one spot actually does go to a TV show, which is The Boys on Amazon Prime, which, like a lot of shows, it also seems to be the year of second seasons of shows being better than the first seasons, at least in my opinion. But, I did binge the first season earlier in the year, and then, The Boys season 2 came out in September. They released the first 3 episodes at once, and then they kind of released the rest of the episodes weekly, which I think that was actually a good strategy for them. I know there was that whole controversy where people were mad at them. They didn't release them all to binge, but like I said, I think it was good for them in the long run. But, The Boys season 1 was just so great and so different, and then, they're able to build onto it here, and I think, with getting kind of the character introductions out of the way in season 1, season 2 was really able to fly and flourish, I would say, because first of all, just some of the fallout from the first season is just great here. Starlight's just great. She's straight up part of the Seven. She has to kind of deal with that. Homelander's straight up psycho now. It is interesting seeing stuff with his kid. You get the new character Stormfront, which she's from the comics or whatnot, but her and Homelander's relationship was definitely interesting and very raunchy. Also, the season's got a fantastic soundtrack, Billy Joel and just so many other great songs. But and that final battle, holy shit, with Stormfront, Queen Maeve, her storyline this season I thought was really interesting. She's kind of afraid of Homelander, and she wants to blackmail him, and I love Starlight and Huey's relationship this season. Holy crap, I just love the relationship so much, and Huey's easily my favorite character of the show, along with Homelander, of course, and also the whole weird cult thingy with first of all, A-Train, and then the Deep was really interesting. I was interested to see where that was going to go, and it didn't really go anywhere, I would say. But and also the main thing with the Congresswoman being a soup also that can straight up explode heads, holy crap. And it turns out to be her the whole time in the season. Huey goes to work with her instead of the boys or whatnot. And also I love seeing Lamplighter. He was just, his costume was great, and actually getting to see the whole backstory between I forgot her name, but you know, her grandkids got torched by a lamplighter or whatnot. That was definitely interesting. You know how regretful he was of that, and also the best episode of the entire season was, you know, the whole hospital episode, which I love sausage. Like, you know, holy crap! Like if you know the guy I'm talking about, like. Whew, oh my goodness! But this season, like I said, was just like I said a lot. This video, you know, because most of the shows on this list have been, you know, second seasons, but was just able to build upon season one and just go far and like just especially the boys going far, you know, past what the first season represented for me at least, but. Really excited to see where they go with season 3, but yeah, so that's why that earns my #1 spot of the year. But anyway, guys, that is my top 10 movies and TV shows of 2020. I definitely know my list ain't gonna be like anybody else's ever, but you know, I definitely had a bunch more shows on here than I thought I was going to, but heck, I mean, they're just so good, and, you know, I know some of the movies I have on here, a lot of people are going to disagree with, but, you know, there wasn't that many movies, so, you know, I had to kind of fill out the list, but, let me sure you guys leave your list of the top 10 movies and TV shows down below. If you just want to do movies, fine, but, I would include TV shows if I was you, but, anyway, guys, check out my Twitter and Discord, link in the description, like and subscribe for more, check out some other videos, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!